Hello, friends. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to be finishing up all of our farm stories this week with reading about things that grow on the farm. So, if you had a chance to come down to the library and pick up your Take and Make, we'll have that video coming up later today. We will be continuing Story Hour in person on Wednesday, October 14th, October 21st, and October 28th. It is pre-registration, so make sure your caregiver, your grown-up, gives you a call to the library and get you signed up for that. You can come down and join us for those story times. But for today, we're going to finish up our farm unit, and we're going to read two stories today. We're going to read On the Farm at the Market, and we're going to read some of How Did That Get in My Lunchbox? So I'm actually going to start with On the Farm at the Market today. It's late afternoon and business as usual at the Monterosa Vegetable Farm. Time to get ready for the farmer's market tomorrow morning. Leo tells his workers which vegetables to pick first. Some vegetables are packed up tonight, while others will be picked early tomorrow morning. The workers know that greens are best picked soon after the sun rises, when temperatures are still cool. The vegetables get washed right away to take out the field's heat. Then they are packed and loaded into trucks. Empty crates are stacked and ready for tomorrow's crops. Did you know that a lot of the fruits and vegetables that you eat grow on farms? Soon everyone but Leo has gone home. He checks to make sure nothing is forgotten. He snaps a bean in half. Tastes it. Perfect, he says. Over at the Amazing Cheese Dairy Farm, Isaac is training his new worker, Rachel. He hands her a clipboard. These are the directions for making cheese, he tells her. Remember to put a check mark after you've finished each step. And very important, don't miss any steps. Isaac takes Rachel over to the big steel vat. To make curds, he explained, milk goes into this vat. You turn on the heater and stir and keep on stirring. He shows her how. Rachel takes a large paddle and stirs like she's rowing a boat in a race. Not so fast, Isaac says with a grin. So first we heard about the plants that grow on the farm. Now we're hearing about the things that they make from dairy and milk that comes from the farm. Rachel stirs until the liquid, separates from the curds, the chunks. Next, the curds are scooped up and put into molds where they become cheese. The cheeses are placed on racks and allowed to age, some for days, others for months. Ronnie and Louisa are going over the checklist to be packed into the van early tomorrow morning. Mozzarella? Check. Queso Blanco? Yep. Cheddar? Got it. 3 of my favorite kinds of cheese. Do you have a favorite kind of cheese? That's a good one, too. Rachel looks at her list to make sure every step has a check mark. All done, she reports. Not yet, says Isaac. He hands her a mop. It's going to be a late night for everybody at the Amazing Cheese Dairy Farm. Here on Gary's farm, the mushrooms grow in a room on shelves and on bags that hang from the ceiling. It resembles a forest if you think about it, Gary explains. The plastic bags filled with a mixture of hay, sawdust, and water are like tree trunks. Other mushrooms grow on cakes that rest on shelves like damp logs on the forest floor. So this farm is all about mushrooms. It's a whole farm just for mushrooms. The temperature is cool and a fog machine keeps the air misty. Gary trims the mushroom with sharp scissors and packs them into foam crates for tomorrow. It's late and time for sleep, but there's one more job to do. Tomorrow morning will come soon. At the market. Early Sunday, the market gets off to a slow start. The spaces are taken up one by one. Nobody talks as tents and tables go up. A breeze blows and the tent fills like balloons. Wind! Someone yells, tie that corner down, hold it tight. The wind whooshes through, and it's quiet again. Sharon, the market manager, comes by with a tray of steaming cups of cocoa. Who wants hot chocolate? Everyone. Friends catch up with one another once everything is all set up and ready. At 10 a.m., customers and browsers start to arrive. Amy from the Busy Bee Cafe is always one of the first shoppers. She checks with her favorite farmers. I wonder what Amy is going to buy. What do you have for me today, Leo? Some nice Swiss chard, leeks, and take a look at these tomatoes, he says, showing them off. Amy fills her cart. Perfect for tonight's special, she says as she walks away. Save me a table, Leo calls as he weighs broccoli rabe for his next customer. There are long lines of people. Produce gets weighed, bags get filled, and pies get boxed. Parents carry babies, and kids eat farm-fresh ice cream and cookies. Doesn't that sound delicious? The last stop... Hold on, I missed a page. The Blackberry Hill Fiddlers finally arrive. They unpack, set up, and soon the air is filled with music. Next stop for Amy is the amazing cheese farm stand. Cheddar cheese, please, she tells Isaac. What's for dinner at the Busy Bee tonight, Isaac asked. One way to find out, Amy says, and she winks. The last stop for Amy is Gary's mushrooms. She buys some of each kind. Gary looks at Amy's cart. He says, cheddar cheese, Swiss chard, leeks, and mushrooms. And I see you stopped at Henry's Eggs. I can guess what's on the Busy Bee special tonight. Should I save you a seat? Amy asks him. You bet, Gary says. What do you think she's going to make with all that good produce she bought? By the end of the afternoon, the crowds start to thin out. Farmers put away what little food is left and tents come down. One by one, the space is empty, and soon the only people left are the workers cleaning up. The sky begins to get dark, but the lights are on over at the Busy Bee Cafe. A few of the Blackberry Hill Fiddlers show up and play a song while everyone sits down for some of Amy's special market pie. After the hard work on the farm and a long day at the market, everyone is ready for a good meal and some fun. So she made a special market pie with all of the wonderful things she bought at the market that grow on a farm. Isn't that amazing? Now we're going to talk about how some of your favorite foods got into your lunchbox. One of the best parts of the day is when you lift the lid of your lunchbox to see what's inside. Your parents have packed it with lots of tasty things to eat. They probably got all the food from the grocery store. But food doesn't grow in stores. So where did it come from before it was at the store? Just how did all of this food get in your lunchbox? Look at that. They have a sandwich and some tomatoes and carrots and some juice and an apple. And they even have a sweet little cookie snack. Let's find out where it all came from. How did the bread get in your sandwich? A farmer planted seeds in the spring, and by summer they grew into tall, waving wheat with fat, ripe grains at the tip of every stalk. Then the farmer cut down the wheat, and the wheat went to the mill, where it was cracked and ground down and baked and turned into delicious bread that then became a delicious sandwich. How did the cheese in your sandwich get in your lunchbox? Cheese was once milk, and it came from the cows. The farmer milked the cows and sent it to the dairy. Then at the dairy, they stir and stir and stir, and they mix it all together, and they get the curds from the whey, and they press it into molds, store it for a while, and out comes the cheese for your tasty sandwich. How about that tomato? How did that get in your lunchbox? Last summer, your tomatoes were growing in a big plastic tunnel full of tomato plants. The sun and the warm weather made the plants grow tall and bloom with yellow flowers. As each flower died, a tiny green tomato grew in its place and started to get bigger and riper as the sun shined and the rain fell, until finally they were large and delicious and ready to be picked. Then someone picked them and inspected them to make sure there weren't any bugs and they weren't all rotten, and shipped them off to the store where Mom picked them up to pack them right in your lunchbox for you. How did your apple juice get in your lunchbox? Last spring, the apple trees in the orchard were full of flowers. In summer, tiny apple buds grew from each flower stalk. The buds kept growing, and by autumn, the trees were full of ripe, sweet fruit. Then they picked them all, and they took them to the press, where they pressed all the juice and the pulp out of it, and then they cook it and they pasteurize it and squirt it into the juice boxes one by one by one so you can have a delicious, tasty drink with your lunch. How did that carrot get in your lunchbox? Last spring, your carrots were growing in a field on a vegetable farm. You wouldn't have seen any carrots, though. They were just long rows of feathery leaves. As the leaves grew taller in the summer sun, each carrot root pushed deeper into the earth, soaking up the water and turning orange. By late summer, they had swelled so much that the top of the carrot was sticking out of the ground and was ready to be plucked. The farmers plucked them all and washed them all and packed them all up and sent them to the store where you got a sweet, crunchy, delicious treat. How did the chocolate chip in your cookie get into your lunchbox? That's right, even chocolate chips come from a farm. Cookies are made from flour, which we've already learned about, sugar and butter, which comes from a dairy. And this one's got chocolate chips in it. The chocolate starts off as a bean, well, lots of beans, which grow in pods on a cocoa tree. The pods are picked from the tree and then cut open and the beans are scooped out. Then they're spread out in the sun to dry, and they're ground, and they're mashed, and they're melted, and they're molded, and they're turned into a delicious chocolate chip that someone puts into your cookie. How did that clementine get in your lunchbox? Do you know what a clementine is? It's like those little tiny oranges you eat that are so fun and easy to peel and so sweet. Early in summer, the trees in the clementine grove were full of sweet-smelling waxy flowers. As the flowers died, a tiny green clementine berry began to grow out of each one. The clementines swelled in the warm sun, turning from green to yellow. By the time cooler winter weather arrived, the clementines had turned orange and were so heavy and full of juice that they made the branches droop. Pickers climbed up and picked each and every one, packed them nice and neatly into crates, and sent those crates off to the store so that you could take them home and eat them for a delicious snack in your lunchbox. You've eaten it all, from the first bite of the bread to the last piece of fruit. It came from fields and farms, from orchards, from groves, and from dairies. So many people helped bring it to you. Farmers and bakers, cheese and chocolate makers, pickers, packers, and truck drivers. And now it's all in your stomach, starting to the job food does best, helping you grow taller and stronger, and giving you the get up and go, go, go. The end. So all of those wonderful things you eat in your lunchbox, from your sandwich to your carrots, grow on farms. They start out somewhere on a farm, and someone has to pick all of that food and get it all ready so that your mom or dad or grandma, whoever's taking care of you, whatever grown-up is making you lunches, can make you delicious sandwiches and make you delicious lunches that you can take to school and enjoy. Thanks for joining us, friends. Don't forget to tune back in around 1 o'clock today, and we'll have our Take and Make craft put up. We're going to make a salad. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then, and I hope you had a chance to come down to the library and get your craft. Bye, friends.